Hello and welcome back to this channel. Today we're going to talk about how you can fly in and out of airports that you aren't familiar with the easy way. With over 13,000 airports in the US alone, it is impossible to keep all this information in your head. So as a sim pilot, I'm going to share 3 strategies that you can use that will help you immensely as you navigate the sim world. First, we start with Aviators tab, and I will post a link either at the top or the bottom of this feed so you can reference the complete overview of this wonderful tool. But we're going to just dive right in. So you start with your departure airport, and you want to familiarize yourself with the airport. So first, you look at your airport description, you've got your frequencies, you've got your airport elevation, you have the runways, and this will give you the runway and also the course for that runway. And that you can set on your heading indicator as you do your departure. And so this is your arrival and departure course as well. Then you also want to check the weather. This will give you an inclination as to which runway they're most likely going to use for departure. So looking at the winds 210 at 10, that means we're most likely going to depart from runway 20. So when I go to the airport diagram, I'll pull this up, and this will help me plan my way to runway 20. So from the east ramp, I know that I'm more likely going to go either out of Hotel to Alpha, Foxtrot, Alpha, and then to the runway end, or Golf Alpha and then to the runway end. And this is runway 20 with that course heading of 190. Second place that I will look for those who want to be more familiar with the departure procedures, if you're departing on an IFR flight plan, you will look at the departure for that airport. Airports with a lot of commercial and IFR traffic will have a departure procedure or mini departure procedure. So the Bridgehaven 1 departure, here I can look at it, and if I'm departing out of the south on heading 196, I will fly that departure here, and it gives me the instructions, standard departure. So you're going to fly straight out, climb out, and then the first fix is the VOR, Bridgeport at 108.8. So I can plan my flight. If I'm going to Farmingdale, take off runway heading, turn and go to the Bridgeport VOR. Then I happen to know this area a little bit because I flew in and out of Long Island quite a bit. So I know that Deer Park is near my arrival airport. So if I plan my flight from New Haven, Bridgeport, Deer Park, and the airport is somewhere in this area, then I have a general idea of how I'm going to go. While en route, I will use my trusty sim map. So we're going to close this out. We're going to go to the sim map, and I will showcase this in the video. I'll overlay this, but as I'm talking about it, here's Tweed New Haven. Here's the Bridgeport VOR. And as I scroll down, here is the Deer Park VOR, and then the airport is right here, Farmingdale. So I've got a general idea of where I'm going, and while I'm en route, I'm looking at this map and I'm looking at this information. And also while I'm en route, while you're en route, you can go back to here and plan your arrival. So to do this, you simply go back to the search area, look at the airport. We're coming into Farmingdale. Know the airport elevation again is at 80 feet. These are the frequencies. These are the runways. And looking again at the wind, 210 at 11. That means they're more likely to give me a visual based on these conditions to runway 19. So as I go back to the airport diagram, I will look and see here's runway 19. So coming here, this is the approach course. And I'll be landing here, and I can familiarize myself with, okay, if I'm here, I'm going to the general aviation ramp, then I'll probably turn on Alpha or Golf 7 and take Golf in and follow the instructions. So I build that mental picture while I'm en route towards the airport. Since I know that they're more likely to give me an approach to runway 19, I can go ahead and familiarize myself with the approaches to 19. In this case, I will choose The only approach that they have is the RNAV 219. And again, as a VFR pilot, I'm not flying this approach. More than likely, as I'm flying in the area, Farmingdale is a Class Delta airport, so when I contact the tower, they'll sequence me in. They'll give me a turn to enter the downwind. So as long as I'm coming from Deer Park, I call them and report, hey, I'm over Deer Park. They'll give me vectors to sequence me in to a downwind, a base, and a final, or a base final into runway 19 into the airport. But I can load this in my GPS, and this will simply give me course guidance, and then since it is a RNAV approach, it will also give me a descent, a glide path towards the airport. Some approaches give this to you. So by having this locked in, this helps me if the weather is great, but I'm still having trouble finding the airport. It will help me find a final approach course and then also plan my descent into the runway so I can arrive safely. So that's how pilots plan and navigate to airports that they're unfamiliar with, simply with a good pre-flight and an in-flight briefing, looking at all available resources to keep their the big picture in mind as they plan their flights. If you do this while you're flying X-Plane, you're going to have a great time. You're going to know where you are. You're going to be able to fly in and out of small and big airports, and this will help keep the mental picture in your mind. So for those who watched to the end, thank you so much. Your viewing means a lot to me. For the new subscribers, welcome on this journey. And for those who have been with me for a while, thank you for rocking with me. I will see you in the next video.